All right, back again with another movies I've watched recently. As usual, I've got 20 movies here. This time 19 in physical form, and then one that I will mention at the end that I unfortunately do not have a physical copy of. I would like to get one, but yeah. Again, as usual, very strange collection of movies here. Not really any rhyme or reason to why I decided to pick these out of everything that I could watch. But yeah, it's all based on just feeling, living in the moment, as they say. So let's start off with Deadstream, released by Arrow. This is a Shudder movie, I think. Yes, a Shudder original. It is a it's not really found. It's found footage. Well, I guess it's in part found footage. It's a streamer horror movie. So you have this guy. He's a disgraced streamer. He's a piece of shit. Is what he is. This sort of like the worst type of modern internet personality, just doing whatever nonsense he can come up with to try and like get an audience and make some money. And he's an awful guy, and he decides to go into this haunted house and do a live stream there. And then you know what? The house is actually pretty damn haunted. So he's in there being tormented by all of these entities, and it's actually a pretty fun movie. I did enjoy this one quite a bit, much more than I was expecting. There's the main character. I wasn't really expecting anything from this. The idea sounds fun, but as you know, but modern horror movies, how many of them really pull off what they are set up to do? Yeah, this is actually a pretty fun horror comedy movie. It's very heavy on the comedic side, but there's also a lot of love put into the crafting of the movie. Lots of physical effects, like real physical special effects. Also, of course, some CGI stuff, but like these monsters look really cool. Like, these are actual masks that are used and prosthetics and stuff. And the movie looks great. It's shot. It's presented in this sort of like, well, there's like the GoPro head camera stuff, yeah, but there's also the sort of surveillance camera style footage and all kinds of different camera angles and ideas used in unison. And yeah, it's a fun movie. I would definitely recommend this to anyone who likes found footage stuff and also like comedy horror movies. I'd give it like this a solid 7 out of 10. It was way better than I was expecting it. So yeah. Starting with a positive note, and then moving on to a negative note. So let's get the excitement down a bit. Witch from Nepal, featuring Chow Yun Fat, and this woman. Like, I watched this movie, but I don't remember her ever being this naked in the movie. So that's a bit of a disappointment. It's one of these Hong Kong films. They are marketing it as this crazy, wacky Hong Kong movie. Look how weird it is. And yes, it is kind of weird. It's also shit. Like, this movie is actually pretty damn bad. I didn't enjoy it really much at all. It would be cool if it was just, this weird sci-fi horror storyline, but it's not. It turns into more like a romantic comedy at times. Even like these Hong Kong movies often have these strange romance plotlines, kind of throwaway romantic plotlines in them. But in here, it is so much the focus that it's kind of strange. It's just like this movie is all over the place. There is no really consistent style to it. The packaging is really nice, and this release by 88 Films is really nice, but I just wish the movie was better. It's way worse than Devil Fetus. Like Devil Fetus was also a disappointment from 88 Films, but yeah, I guess like the main problem with the movie is that the storyline is presented in an incredibly dull and boring way. It just doesn't seem to go anywhere for most of the movie. Then there is this like antagonist guy who for some reason roars like a tiger or something. Not a tiger. It's the sound of a mountain lion, like a cougar. He keeps making that sound, but he's not really in the movie for most of it. He just kind of appears every once in a while, roars like a cougar a couple of times, and then runs off. It's strange. I don't really understand what they were going for with the script here. And yeah, it's Chow Yun-fat. There's also this weird woman, and they just kind of run around doing stuff that maybe matters or maybe doesn't. I don't know. And yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's really bad. So just overall, I would not recommend this, even to like hardcore Hong Kong movie fans. I wouldn't recommend this to you if you haven't seen this yet. Yeah. It says here on the back cover, which from Nepal has it all: romance, violence, adventure, and zombies. That's true. It's also a zombie movie because there's like all kinds of nonsense thrown together. It doesn't really fit. So yeah, it does have all of that, but none of it is done well. So there you go. This is probably the worst movie I've ever seen Chow Yun-fat in. If there are worse ones out there, please let me know, and I'll try to avoid them. So yeah, that's Witch from Nepal. I'd give it like a low 5 out of 10. It is at times kind of amusing. That's why it gets a 5. And it does have some cool set designs also, especially later on, sort of temple stuff and whatever. But overall, not a good one. Talking of bad movies, I watched the third movie from the Infernal Affairs trilogy. I'm pretty sure I haven't talked about it yet. So the third movie, which is from 2003. And they did here what you should never do with a sequel. So the third movie is, it's not the longest out of the 3. It's 1 minute shorter than 2, but it is way longer than the first one, which is the only one in the series that I think is like really good. And yeah, the third Infernal Affairs, again, what a snooze fest of a movie, which is incredible. Because there are so many characters in it, like so many twists and turns and plot twists and like things revealed about the different characters. I don't want to spoil any of it because like the storyline is actually pretty interesting if you really think about it. Like if you read the Wikipedia description of the storyline or the plot description, it sounds like the most interesting movie you've ever seen. But it's presented here in this incredibly dull way, and it just, oh my god. The storyline, it just keeps bouncing around from one place to another, and it lacks this sense of cohesion to it. Like the different parts of the movie just feel disconnected from one another. It's just kind of stuff happens, and then you move to a next scene where again stuff happens, but there isn't really a link between them. Until you later on, like you if you know what is going on in a movie, it makes sense. But otherwise, it just makes for an incredibly dull viewing experience. And yeah, you have Andy Lau here again as one of the main characters. Andy Lau's character's trajectory in this movie is ridiculous. Again, I don't want to spoil anything. Like if you are a masochist and you want to watch the whole Infernal Affairs trilogy, including the third movie, which is really bad, I don't want to spoil it for you, but Andy Lau's character here, like this is not a great depiction of what he is going through here. It is very ham-fisted. If you know what I mean. But yeah, yeah. There are some really cool side characters here, like the again, I can't say what his role in the movie really is because that's a spoiler, but there are all kinds of side characters. Like the Andy Lau character comes across multiple like meaningful side characters. Some of them are bad guys, some of them are good guys, some of them you kind of don't know. And there are some nice additions to the actor set here, the cast. Some people who weren't in the original two movies who have very interesting characters here. So there are some positives I can say about it. Also, in terms of Infernal Affairs, like these movies are not about action really as much as many other Hong Kong movies, but still the third one has way too little action in it. It has huge sections of the movie that just don't seem to move fast enough or have any sort of payoff to it. And yeah, it's just a disappointment. I was warned before I watched this that it's not great, but I wasn't expecting it to be this bad. So yeah, Infernal Affairs 3. It's again like it's another 5 out of 10 for me. It has Andy Lau in it, which is always a positive, and has some other actors, like great actors in it. But yeah, it's not great, and it's clearly like cashing in on the success of the first movie, much like the second movie as well. I didn't like the second movie either as much as the first one, although the second movie in and of itself is quite entertaining and I did enjoy it. But yeah, like the third one is rough. All right, moving on to more positive things. Radiance Films. I watched 3 movies from the backlog. One of these, the second one of these is from this year, from the January batch, but the other ones are, well, The Wild Child is also from the January batch. So I have 2 pretty recent movies here, one older one. So let's start with the older release. This came out, I think, last year during the fall at some point. The Railroad Man, directed by Pietro Germi. Radiance released one of his movies earlier. It's in the World Noir 1 set, Facts of Murder, which I thought was just okay. The Railroad Man is really good. So this is from the 1950s, right? Yeah, 1956. It is a movie about a man who works driving a train or conducting a train, however you want to say it. And he has a lot of problems in his life. He has problems with alcohol, he has problems with his daughter, he has problems with his wife, he has problems with his son, he has problems with... Wait, does he have a son? Yeah, he does. Yeah, he also has problems with his daughter's love life. He has all kinds of problems. He has just a ton of problems and doesn't really know how to navigate those issues. And the whole movie is about him and his family life and just trying to be a better man, I guess, and failing at it horribly, miserably. Yeah, there's a scene like early on in a movie where he's supposed to go home. I think it's Christmas, and he's supposed to go home after work. He meets his young son at his workplace, and then just decides to go for one drink, just one drink with a mate. And yeah, that's the whole Christmas evening there, just drinking in a bar, like this sort of stuff. It's really dark. It's really sad. Like it's very much a melodramatic family drama. Really well made, really well directed. I watched this with a friend of mine, and that person said that it was disappointing how few trains there were in the movie. That's true. There isn't really that much train action going on, although the main character is like working for a railroad company. It's more about the family drama. So if you're expecting lots of trains, you'll be disappointed. But it's a great movie. It's really good. Yeah, the back cover depicts one of the turning points. It's pretty early on in a movie. It's a bit of a spoiler, but not really that much, because it happens very early on. It affects like the latter 3/4 of the movie quite a lot. So there's a guy who commits suicide by jumping in front of the train conducted by the main character, and that really affects his psyche. And yeah, it's really good. This is another complete blind buy for me from Radiance, and another one that didn't disappoint. Great creation from the company. Yeah, also has a booklet. I'll quickly show some imagery from there. Well, there are some trains in it. That's the son of the main character. And that's the main character. Jeremy, the director, he plays the main part himself. Like he did also in Facts of Murder, the other movie by him, released by Radiance. Yeah, there's also the reversible cover art. Very nice. Movie poster. Il Ferroviere. There you go. The Railroad Man. I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. It is maybe a bit too long at almost 2 hours, and just it's kind of a downer. It's a movie doesn't need to be happy or fun to be enjoyable, but it's a bit of a downer. Moving on to Illustrious Corpses. Maybe an 8.5 to Railroad Man. I could see myself giving it a 9 if I rewatch it ever. It's pretty compelling, but yeah. Illustrious Corpses, directed by Francesco Rossi, another Radiance release. It deals with a series of murders, and there's a guy who starts investigating stuff. The main actor is great. Lino Ventura from Melville as Army of Darkness. Not Army of Darkness, Army of Shadows. Army of Darkness is the Evil Dead movie. Army of Shadows, that's the Melville movie about the French like saboteurs fighting against the German occupation. Great movie. Yeah, Lino Ventura is fantastic. And yeah, Illustrious Corpses. I was maybe like the trailer for this movie that was released by Radiance. The trailer is really, really, really good. So I was very hyped by the trailer. The movie itself, was it that great? Nah, not really. It's very slow. Maybe a bit too slow for my taste when it comes to this style of movie. So when you have this sort of murder investigation stuff going on, this movie very much deals with it's almost like a how would I put it without spoiling it? It's like a conspiracy theory movie, basically, about this sort of shadowy cabals trying to overtake governments and, stuff like that. So I don't expect a movie like this to be so slow and so methodical. The ending is fantastic, no spoilers, but yeah, at times I was kind of hoping that the movie would move faster and there would be more action. But otherwise, like it has a very striking visual style, as you can see. Like these are some of the imagery from the movie. Has a very striking visual style. It's very ponderous, and yeah, it like the it sounds like a murder mystery movie with this sort of, but it's the investigation itself is not really that exciting or interesting. Oh yeah, it also has Max von Sydow in it, the Ingmar Bergman actor. Yeah, like out of these Italian movies from this era, so this is the 1970s, around 1970s, 1980s, I think out of the ones that Radiance has released, there are ones that I enjoy better, like what would I say, like where you have like in the Cosa Nostra box set, you have The Day of the Owl, but that's a bit earlier than this. Then you also have what is the movie called? Girl with the Suitcase. That one I would rate higher than this. And then stuff like where is it on my shelf? Why can't I find it? Yeah, We Still Kill. Not really. We Still Kill the Old Way. Not really that one. But yeah, I guess there aren't that many. I would rate higher than this. But then from the Raro line, you have like The Boss and this more action-oriented Gang War in Milan. Those ones I do prefer over this. But that's a completely different genre. So I guess that's kind of a moot point because of that. Oh yeah, there's also this guy who's from the... he's from that serial killer movie released by Vinegar Syndrome, the French one, directed by Jess Franco. I can't remember his name. Really fine actor. So yeah, Illustrious Corpses. Very difficult to say what I think about this one. I should probably rewatch this at some point because it's kind of compelling, but I also just didn't find it as interesting as I was expecting to find it. So I guess I'll give it like a placeholder 8 out of 10. Kind of see how my opinion shifts with more time. There has to be some Italian movies I would rate higher than this. Well, the Horrible Dr. Hitchcock, yeah. That's a cool one. Surely there are some other ones. There's also some Italian movies released by Radiance that I haven't watched yet at all. Oh yeah, there's Misunderstood. That's a really good Italian movie that I would definitely rate higher than Illustrious Corpses. Yeah, I guess there aren't that many of them. Oh yeah, the one that I was trying to remember, it's Slap the Monster on page 1. Very similar to Illustrious Corpses in many ways. This sort of societal commentary. It's not a murder movie. Well, I guess it kind of is, but it's more about like journalism. That one, that's a really good one. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on to The Wild Child by Truffaut. So another Francois Truffaut movie that I thought was all right. It's enjoyable. Now, one thing that annoys me is that Radiance uses a lot of these like black spines, but they have these really nice, colorful obi strips. It's kind of disappointing because I was kind of hoping that the spine would be like this green, but it's just black. Annoying. There are many of these movies, especially I feel like recently that have had these black spines. So many of them, like A Quiet Place in the Country, Lost Golfos, River of Grass, and so on. So many black spines. I kind of wish there was more variety with the spines. But yeah, this is a Truffaut movie about a boy who is found in a forest, who has lived in the forest, I guess, the entirety of his life, and he's just feral. And Truffaut himself plays a doctor who is trying to teach the feral kid to speak and to understand like human language. And it's an interesting movie. Now, is it a masterpiece? Not really. The child actor is incredibly good. like really strong performance. However, this movie is an hour and 30 minutes of this feral kid grunting and throwing things at walls, basically. And then Truffaut narrating how he's disappointed that he cannot teach this feral kid to understand what is going on with language. Like, the kid doesn't appreciate the finer points of linguistics. Let's just put it that way. And yeah, it's all right. I did enjoy it, but is it a masterpiece? Not really, in my opinion. I'd give it like a 7.5. It's one of these Truffaut movies. Like, every time I watch a Truffaut movie, I'm waiting for the one that really grabs me. But there's just something about his style that just doesn't work for me. It's very clinical, very clean. And it just doesn't grab me for one reason or another. Maybe it's personal preference. I don't know. All right, moving on. Next up, a Australian horror movie. This is a release by Umbrella. Next of Kin by Tony Williams. Not really much to say about this one. It's pretty generic in terms of a horror movie. Kind of easy to guess where it's going. It's about a young woman who moves into this house, and there's all kinds of weird stuff going around her. Yeah, it does have a soundtrack by Klaus Schulze, who is just a legendary electronic musician. Love his work. So the music is pretty cool. But yeah, otherwise it's a Australian horror movie. Haven't seen that many of those, but it's not anything groundbreaking, really. It's a movie about the woman who moves into a new place and there's weird people, and then just, horrific stuff happens and there's a killer loose and whatever. One thing that I did enjoy about this movie is that it takes place. I can't remember exactly if it is an old person's home or if it's just a place where a bunch of old people live and then the main character is also living there. But there's a bunch of these like elderly people in the movie, in this milieu, if you will, and there's some creepy stuff going on with that. Especially like early on in the movie, there's this scene where this old person is just like in a bathtub. It's one of the most disturbing things I've seen in a long time. So there you go. Next of Kin. Like a basic 6 out of 10 for me. Next up, probably the worst movie of this set. I decided to dive back into the Arrow Video Herschel Lewis box set, like the Herschel Lewis Feast. I watched 3 movies from that set so far. Somewhat enjoyed all of them. They are not great, but they are like historically important, like early gore movies from the 60s, like cheaply made early gore movies, and surprisingly fun for what they are. And from the first disc, so I have the cheaper set. I watched Moonshine Mountain, which is the 4th movie from this, and boy, oh boy, do I regret wasting my time on this movie. It's a zero-budget American South exploitation movie where there's a bunch of rednecks brewing moonshine, and like one of them is just a maniac who starts like killing people, basically, or who is killing people, and then yeah, it's just about this one guy just killing a bunch of people, and then they play banjos and sing a song or whatever. Yeah, it's awful. It looks awful. It has incredibly bad picture quality. It just hasn't been. It doesn't have like materials available from which they could do a proper master from. So. Yeah, it's one of those Arrow releases where there's a warning at the beginning of the movie. Oh yeah, by the way, if you want to watch a version of this movie with a bunch of digital smears all over it, you can, where the picture quality is like consistent, but it's consistently bad. Or you can watch this other version where some of the scenes are just full of mold, but some of the scenes look great. So I decided to watch the moldy version. And yeah, some of the scenes look awful, like they are full of like this damage caused by mold and moisture and everything. So the movie looks awful. The digital version looks even worse because it has this very like artificial, cheap, like AI look to it. It's awful. So either version of the movie looks bad. But yeah, it's just awful. It's about this guy who comes from the city to this small town and kind of tries to integrate with the small town society and whatever, but the Hicks are just blood hungry, whatever, and moonshine thirsty as well. And yeah, it's just awful. It's really bad. 3 out of 10. I'll give it 3 points because there are some musical numbers in it that are really good. The main actor, does it say it here on the back cover who that is? Because I can't remember it. The main actor is actually a pretty cool guy, and he can really play the guitar. And there are multiple scenes in the movie where he plays guitar. Yeah, I'll give it 3 points for those. Everything else, garbage. So there we go. Next up, I unboxed this in the pickups video, The Stuntman, released by Radiance, and I watched it immediately after I finished recording that video. So it's a movie by Richard Rush. I don't think I've seen anything by him, and it's about making movies and stunt work. So there's a guy, this guy, who is a convict. He's running away from the police, and he kind of hides in this movie crew, like infiltrates this movie crew, becomes a stuntman, although he doesn't have any experience in that line of work. He becomes a stuntman, and it's about this director who's really abusive and manipulative, kind of, using this weird stuntman guy to make this movie. It's strange. Peter O'Toole is fantastic in this movie. He's the director. And then you also have Barbara Hershey, so there's some really big names here. And yeah, I thought this movie was pretty great. Very interesting, very strange, like a meta film about making movies and stunt work, and also this kind of a thriller plotline, crime plotline / thriller plotline running through it. It's very strange, and because there's all this stunt work going on, you don't really know, especially at the beginning of the movie, what is real and what is not. Because the movie starts with this sort of this convict escaping from the police, and there's a car that goes off a bridge into the river. But then you find out that that's part of the movie, and that's like they're rehearsing for the scenes and whatever. And did someone actually die? Like, did the car crash into the river, and who drove it, and what is even going on? It's very confusing at the start, but then you kind of start figuring more things out as it keeps going. Yeah, it's an interesting movie, and I'm really glad that I bought it because it's sold out already. It went out of print, like this limited edition. It went out of print pretty fast, like really fast. And the movie is great. Definitely deserves that. So I was impressed by Night of the Juggler. I think the Stuntman, like, this is the best release by Transmission so far out of the 2 that they've released. Special effects that I also what's that? That was in the last pickups video, like this month's pickups video. This was in the month before. So special effects, that one I haven't watched yet. But yeah, if the quality of these movies is consistently as high as they have been so far for Transmission, like, this is just a fantastic label, fantastic new label, fantastic movie as well. The Stuntman. I'd give it like a solid 8.5. It's cool stuff. Right, moving on to my second stack. So that was the first stack. Now we have the second stack to go through. Couple of Criterion films. I watched Beau Travail by Claire Denis, or Beau Travail. I don't speak French. I don't know. It's a very famous movie. It's from the 1990s, like 1999. Yeah, about the French Foreign Legion. I was expecting it to be more homoerotic than it ended up being, because that's one of the selling points of this movie. Like it's a very explicitly sexually charged, let's just put it that way. These French Legion people, like these young men, half naked, like doing drills together, yeah, this sort of stuff. But it wasn't really that overt, I don't think. I didn't really even pay much attention to it, to be honest, while I was watching the movie. The thing that I was paying attention to was the incredible cinematography in this film. It's shot in... Where does it take place? How the hell am I going to pronounce that name? Djibouti? So it's in this kind of... it's a desert area, yeah, but there's also mountains, and visuals are so incredible. There's ocean sequences here at the beach and stuff like that, and it looks fantastic. However, I have to say, I wasn't a huge fan of this movie overall. It's one of those films that doesn't really have much of a plot or anything really going on in it. You're just supposed to kind of soak it in. It's one of those movies that it's just scene after scene after scene from the life of these Foreign Legion soldiers. And that's that. That's the movie. So it's more of a mood piece, an atmospheric mood piece, than an actual like story with a plot in it. There is a kind of plot in it, that there's this sergeant and then there's this new recruit, and they kind of have this sexually charged friendship thing going on or whatever, but it's not overt, like I already said. It just kind of happens. It's there. Everything in the movie just kind of happens. And this is not a style of movie that I enjoy, just in general. Like, I remember having a very similar experience with the Japanese movie Shara, for example, that is also very similar to this. It's just, scenes from the life of people, or lives of people. And this is like that. And it's just not my thing. But I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Because it is like obviously like incredibly well crafted and has a lot going for it. But yeah, not my thing. Next up, another Criterion film. I decided to watch Scarface by Howard Hawks. This is the original Scarface from the 1930s, 1932 to be exact. It's a gangster movie, of course. Tells the story of this gangster played by Paul Mooney, who starts from the bottom and works his way up and becomes this sort of criminal overlord. And of course, if you've seen Al Pacino in Scarface, you know what happens in the end. Like, he's alone. Everyone is either dead around him or like he has betrayed everyone, so he has no friends. And then, obviously not going to have a happy ending. There's also Boris Karloff in this movie. He had a lot of roles other than just the horror stuff. So he did, of course, other stuff than just Frankenstein and The Mummy and stuff like that. But it's always fun to see him in a non-horror movie role, because he is really good. Like, he's really good, really charismatic, and he really pulls off like any character that he plays really well. So he's here like one of the rival gangsters working against the Scarface and stuff. And yeah, This movie is really, really violent. For 1930s, this is shocking how brutal it is. Just people getting gunned down in the streets, storefronts, like chuck dynamite in there. Like let's send them a message. Chuck dynamite through the window. Whole building explodes, and just people dying left and right. All kinds of people getting gunned down, and betrayal after betrayal. It's very like contrasting this to Bell Travail, where there's not much of a plot line. Like this is all plot, and there's no filler, and it's great. It's really good. One of the problems that I have with the movie, it's more of my problem than the movie's problem again, is that all of the characters are morons. But that's kind of the point, because they are supposed to be like some of the characters are borderline illiterate, like they cannot read or write basically, and of course that's purposeful here. Like these gangsters are portrayed as complete morons, like they don't know anything. They can't do anything else. It's all about the crime life, the life of crime. You can't really do anything else. Like you don't have any possibilities in society because you're uneducated and just cannot function in society. Like that's purposeful. But I think it goes a bit too far here. Like there's this comedic side character in the movie whose name I can't remember, who is so goddamn stupid. And he's used as this sort of a slapstick comedy sidekick character. And I think that's just kind of it doesn't fit the otherwise really like hard-hitting violent action drama on display here. So I kind of wish Howard Hawks would have cut a little bit of that comedy stuff out of the movie. I think the end result would have been stronger. But yeah, other than that, great movie. I'd give this like a low 9, 8.5, around that range. Really good stuff, and very interesting movie to watch if you've seen the like the Brian De Palma Scarface movie, or if you haven't, like watch this first and then the Brian De Palma version. Very, very good stuff. Next up, for something completely different, I watched Crawl, which is a Blumhouse movie, right? It's from Blumhouse. Pretty sure about that. There is nothing here. It says Paramount. Huh. I've always thought that this was a Blumhouse production, but maybe I'm mistaken. Well, it's directed by Alexandre Aja, or Aja. Alejandro, I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name. He's a pretty good director. He did the Hills Have Eyes remake and stuff like that. So he's a director that I've always appreciated. Now this movie I don't like. It's it's a movie. It's a disaster movie combined with a monster movie. So it takes place in Florida. It's obviously not shot in Florida because there's all kinds of mistakes with the set design. Pretty much all of the sets are CGI, so this is incredibly CGI heavy. The set, like the backgrounds, the environments look incredible. Like the CGI work there is fantastic, but the monsters, like these alligators, they look pretty damn bad. Really, really like annoying stuff. They did use puppets and stuff for some of the scenes, but obviously most of the gators are just CGI, which is very disappointing. But yeah, it takes place in Florida. There's a hurricane, and water everywhere, so the alligators are moving around freely. And it's about this daughter who is looking for his father in the hurricane area, finds him. They are stuck in a basement and trying to get out of the basement, basically, for most of the movie. And it could be really cool. Like, it has some tense moments. It has some really nice atmosphere to it. it's very dark. Um, Not only just in terms of them being in a basement, but also like they get like there are so many people here who get bitten by the alligators, and there's blood spurting everywhere and whatever, and it's kind of rough at times. The director is very good with gory stuff. Like he of course obviously likes that sort of um, direction in horror movies where there's lots of gore, lots of gruesome imagery, and yeah, he does that here. However, continuity issues, like this movie is continuity problem, the movie, because like there are scenes where the main actress, who is Kaya Scodelario, I always liked her. She was in Skins, the British TV series, and yeah, he was Effie in that series, and she's done just a bunch of different kinds of movies. Like I don't remember seeing her in horror movies before, but she has done a lot of different types of stuff, and I've always liked her. She gets bit so many times in this movie. Like she pretty much gets her arm torn off by one of the alligators, and then in the next scene it's just like a flesh wound. And like the continuity doesn't make any sense. There are so many logical problems with the story. I don't usually like criticizing movies because there's like, why did they do this instead of that? Like why did they not, why did like in this horror movie, why did the person not run out of the house and escape? Well, because that ruins the whole fucking movie. Like of course, like sometimes you just have to write things for the plot for it to move forward, even if it doesn't make sense. But in this movie, like half of the stuff in this movie makes no sense. It is so poorly written that it's ridiculous. Like these people, like they could have escaped the basement so many times by doing so many different things, and they're just stuck there because the movie demands them to be there. And yeah, it has a lot of problems. So yeah, I don't really enjoy Crawl because of all the story problems and because of the bad CGI for the alligators. Like the alligators don't feel alive like they should in a monster movie like this. So it's pretty bad. It's pretty damn bad. I would give it like maybe a 5 out of 10. It's maybe a 4 out of 10. Not really. I do enjoy this more than Witch from Nepal. Let's give it a 5 out of 10. Who cares? Like the only movie in this video that is really like truly bad is Moonshine Mountain. All the other ones are just kind of like they have some good things going for them, and there's some enjoyment to get. So yeah, let's give Crawl a 5 out of 10. Next up, let's go again into a positive place. Wolves, Pigs and Men, which is a Yakuza film by Kinji Fukasaku, released by Eureka on Blu-ray. This one I enjoyed a lot. It is, again, another Kinji Fukasaku Yakuza film, yes, but it's different from the others. This deals very much with youth criminals. So you have these kind of Yakuza people who are coercing these like youth criminals into becoming accomplices. This is like a 60s youth movement movie, as you can tell from this image already. Like it's just a bunch of kids living in this shack on the outskirts of some like small town area, and yeah, they're just doing nothing, loitering around. And then there's Ken Takakura, the charismatic Yakuza, who gets them involved in this sort of plot where they are stealing money from a rival Yakuza gang. And of course it goes wrong, as it always does. And much of the movie is not about that plot line that I just talked about, because it all happens pretty early on in the movie. Then there's all kinds of betrayal and stuff going on, and some gruesome scenes where the Yakuza people are just, keeping the youth criminals hostage. Basically, it's almost like a kidnapping movie. The second half of it, and they are trying to torture them and get information out of them. And it's a very different style of Yakuza movie. I don't think I've seen anything quite like this, with this focus on these young criminals who are outside of the Yakuza system and kind of forced into it, and to deal with this fallout of this plot line. So very interesting. I'd give Wolf Speaks and Men a solid 8 out of 10. Highly recommended for anyone who's into Japanese crime movies. Right. I also rewatched, going back to Arrow, I rewatched Demons 2, the second movie. I also rewatched the first one. I don't remember if I talked about that when I did. It's a long time ago, probably half a year ago at this point. But yeah, I also rewatched Demons 1, and yeah, these are classic 80s horror movies. The second one, it is called Demons 2, but it's not really a sequel. Really, it has demons in it and kind of a similar style of story as the first one, where just a bunch of people are in this enclosed area and then demons appear and start killing them, so they try to survive. It's the same with the first movie that takes place in a movie theater, and here in the second one it's kind of sort of a high-rise building that these people are stuck in. And I'm a huge fan of Lamberto Bava, and especially the Demons movies. These have shockingly low scores in IMDb, for example. I have no idea why. I would give both of these movies a solid 8 out of 10, maybe even higher. These are special effects masterpieces. If you don't like gory stuff, you're not going to enjoy Demons 1 and 2, because the gory stuff is very explicit and over the top and in your face. Like the stuff that these demons do to these humans. It's, yeah. In the second movie, there's also a demon dog that appears in one sequence. There's all kinds of weird stuff going on. It's like 28 days later, but Italian and not zombies. It's interesting. It's really cool. I like Demons, both of these movies a lot. So there you go. Next up, from 88 Films, I watched Ark of the Sun God. Now again, back to the negativity. This movie is pretty damn bad. It is a Italian Indiana Jones ripoff. Has Rick Spear as the main guy here, who is looking for a hidden something. I don't want to spoil it. It's he goes into a an ancient temple to look for something. You know how it goes. It's an Indiana Jones style of movie. It is truly shocking how bad a movie can be, although how boring. Let's not call it bad. Let's just call it boring. It's a boring movie. It is shocking how you can make a boring movie that has car chases, boat sequences like speedboats. You have helicopter sequences. You have a building burning down to the ground. You have a sewer section with people chasing one another. You have gunfights, lots of gunfights. You have an ancient temple with lava in it. You have horse riding. Just list everything you could put into an adventure action movie, and it's in here, all of it. But it is incredibly boring and dull, the movie from start to finish. It is so poorly paced, and the sequences that should be exciting, they just kind of happen. It's just one of those movies. For some reason, it just doesn't click ever at any point. And yeah, not a great, not a great movie. I did kind of it is kind of funny. It is amusing. You have Like you have Rick Spear going into an ancient temple looking for Gilgamesh's like loot. Like it is kind of fun in that sense, and you have lots of action in it. But still, come on, man. I'd give the Ark of the Sun God maybe a low 6 out of 10. Just for like they did their best. They did their best, and there's some good stuff in there. So there you go. Right, I have a couple of movies here left. Let's talk about Turtles next. So I went through the entirety of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trilogy set. 3 movies. And I have to say, this was my first time watching them, and I enjoyed 2 of them. So the first one, like these are kids' movies, so don't expect anything too spectacular. But these have a lot of heart, lot of like fun stuff in them. And the first movie, basically, it tells the story of how the turtles became mutant Ninja Turtles, and there's the background story of Splinter, the rat, and how he became like a sewer rat, and how he ended up going from Japan to New York. Not sure, but whatever, that's not important. Yeah. And you have April O'Neil here, you have Casey Jones here, and then Shredder as the main villain. And it's very basic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. Lots of background story, lots of fight sequences with the turtles like spinning around and doing flips and fighting against the Foot Clan and Shredder. The Foot Clan, like that name is just ridiculous. I've always thought that was absolutely ridiculous. Even as a young kid, watching the animated TV series, I thought the Foot Clan was just like, what is the Foot Clan? Why the Foot Clan? I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, the first movie, really fun. I would give this like a solid 7 out of 10. It is a kids movie, and the plot line is very generic and like predictable. There's really nothing much to it. But the great thing about these movies is the special effects, because you have Jim Henson and his crew who did the costumes for the Ninja Turtles, and also who did the they did like robotics for the facial animations, like animatronic facial animations inside of the masks and stuff. So they look really cool, especially Splinter, who's just this old rat. His facial features are so prominent in this movie, and they are moving in like such an uncanny valley human-like way. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I did enjoy the first movie a lot. But yeah, it is just a silly kids movie. So can I really rate it higher? Not really. The second movie, a lot of people dislike this. I thought it was really fun. I thought it was pretty much on par with the first movie, which is an unpopular opinion. This is even more of a kids movie, leaning very heavily on a comedic side. Maybe a bit too much. It is kind of obnoxious at times. However, every time that I thought, "Oh my God, why are these turtles so obnoxious?" Then I remembered the title of the movie and the series. Like it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's not respectable adult Ninja Turtles. So like they are just teenagers, and they are also kind of growing up throughout the series. So in the third movie, they are kind of growing up to an extent. So there's this strange turtle coming of age story going on here. If you watch like all of the movies back to back to back, you can kind of see them evolving and developing and becoming more mature, I guess. A little bit, at least. But yeah, the second movie, it is a kids action comedy movie. Like that's what it is. So I don't know why people are expecting it to be some sort of a cinematic masterpiece. There's even more background here. Like there's the background of like what is the green goo that the turtles like came from, like which made them these mutants. And I have to say, some of the costumes in this movie are really fucking great. In the first movie, you could clearly see that the people making the movie were kind of coming up with stuff on the fly, trying to figure out how to make the animatronics work and how to make the costume stuff work. Like these turtles in these movies, like they are actors inside turtle costumes, which is pretty ridiculous because they are doing like flips and like spinning on the ground and doing these like really difficult martial arts moves, like high kicks and stuff in these costumes. So it's pretty impressive. But they were clearly figuring stuff out in the first movie. In the second movie, you can see that they knew better what they were doing, because the facial features are again like they are even stronger than in the first movie. Like how the lips move and how the eyes move and the eyebrows and everything in the costumes, synchronized with how they're speaking and whatever. It worked really well. And the action sequences are more complex and there are more of them than in the first movie. And also like the I don't want to spoil the ending, but the Shredder, like the final form of Shredder in this movie, is so cool. Like when he drinks the green goo and becomes this sort of mutant Shredder thing. That's really fucking cool. And the destruction. And yeah, it's like this is basically like this is like the first movie, but with even better even better stunt work, even better costumes, even better special effects, and just even more fight scenes and over the top action. But then on the other hand, it is also very, very childlike. If they did this second movie with the same style as they did the first one, it could be the best one in the series. I'd give it like a 6.5, maybe a 7, low 7. It's definitely not as strong as the first one, but it is close to that, I think. I don't think it's nearly as bad as people say. It has a Metacritic score of like 30, which is ridiculous. And yeah, it's pretty cool. And then for the third one, unfortunately, this is the worst of the bunch. You can clearly see that this has a high budget. The first two movies are really low budget films. I think the first one was made for like 10 million, which is ridiculous considering how well made it is. But yeah, there are special features here in the box set that are really cool, where the directors and other people involved in making of the movies talk about the movies. Where they talk about like this is which companies were that? This was a co-production of Shaw Brothers and who's the other company? Some American company was involved here with Shaw Brothers, I think. Well, it doesn't say here anywhere. That's unfortunate. But yeah, it's a low-budget series originally. Became a huge hit. And now for the third movie, this is a ridiculous expansion from the first two movies, because this is a time travel film that takes place mostly in like samurai era feudal Japan. So you have this modern day New York stuff going on, and then this ancient Japan stuff going on, and you are kind of moving between these two time periods. And the samurai stuff is very prominent in the film. It's not just some little part of it, like it's most of the movie is that. So it's basically a samurai film with Ninja Turtles in it, which is strange. And it's just not that very great. Like the drama in the movie is not engaging, and the samurai stuff, it's like a pretty generic samurai film, like exactly what you would expect. Like there's a lord, evil lord, and then there's a bunch of like people who are trying to overthrow this and like this tyrant. And it's very generic, very boring, unfortunately. But it is also kind of funny. Like they transport some samurais from Japan into New York, and there are some really dumb comedy bits with those like samurai guys getting a taste of modern day New York City life. It's ridiculous. But yeah, just overall, I just didn't really enjoy the third movie. I thought it was the weakest of the three. It's also the longest. It's always like this. It's just an hour and 35 minutes, but still, it's a bit too long for that. So, not that great, but it's fun. Was it a short? Yeah, it is the longest one because the second one is only 89 minutes. So there you go. Turtles. I would give the third one like a low 6 out of 10. It still has those. It still has Jim Henson stuff in it, and the puppets are really cool. Also, one negative for the third movie is that they went really overboard with the facial animations this time for the turtles, or the facial movements of the prosthetics, not prosthetics, the animatronics. They are so overpowering and just strange, and it just doesn't work that well. But yeah, there you go. So yeah, I'd give the first Turtles movie like a solid 7 out of 10. The second movie maybe a 6.5, low 7, and the third one like a low 6. It's all right. I'm glad I got that set. All right, I'm already at an hour and 6 minutes. I have one more movie here that I have a physical copy of. So Chuck Norris passed away, and I have a bunch of his movies that I haven't watched. So I watched Silent Rage, featuring Chuck Norris. Now, is this movie good? Not really. Does it have some awesome sequences in it? Hell yes. So this is a sci-fi horror kind of action movie. Deals with this sort of like mad scientists who are they bring a dead person back to life with this sort of serum that they have, and that dead person who is shot to death early on in a movie because he goes on a rampage and snaps and starts killing his family, and he's shot and killed and then brought back to life. And after he's brought back to life, he starts terrorizing this town and starts, killing more people. And Chuck Norris has to save the day. He's the sheriff, as you can tell. And I guess the main problem I have with this movie is that it starts really strong, but it takes such a long time. This movie is an hour and 40 minute long Chuck Norris movie. It should be an hour and 25 minute long Chuck Norris movie. And the part where the Frankenstein monster guy who gets brought back to life, the part where he starts killing people only really picks up after like an hour of the movie has gone on. It just takes way too long for it to go on. There is this side plot line of these bikers coming to town and Chuck Norris having to fight against them. I thought that was a much more interesting plot line, to be honest. And the best part of this movie is the bar fight scene where Chuck Norris just, kicks everyone's ass. It's really brutal. Very physical scene. Just these bikers getting thrown through windows and tables and getting kicked in the face and falling over and just complete mayhem. So I thought that was really fun, but that's just, a small portion at the beginning of the movie. The rest of the movie is really boring, and the guy just he just appears in places and just kills people and then disappears and then appears again. And then in the end, Chuck Norris, of course, beats him. But yeah, very disappointing. I don't know if disappointing is the right word, because it's a Chuck Norris movie. How disappointed can you really be to watch a Chuck Norris movie and it not be good? Because most of his movies, to be honest, are pretty bad. From what I know, I haven't seen many of them, but still. Right, and to end the video, I'll talk about another Chuck Norris movie, because I watched also Code of Silence at a friend's place. I don't have a physical edition of that. There's also an 88 Films release of that, so I should get it at some point. Code of Silence is really good. I was very surprised by it. I would give Silent Rage, again, like a 5.5 maybe. Lots of 5s and 6s in this video, but yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I can't go lower than that, because Chuck Norris is a badass, and there are some really fun sequences in the movie, but yeah, like a 5 out of 10, 5.5 out of 10. Code of Silence, I would go as far as give it an 8 out of 10. It's, again, a movie about Chuck Norris, who is a police, and a bunch of bad guys, and he has to fight against the bad guys. It's really, really over the top, fun 80s action movie. It was released a couple of years after Silent Rage. So Silent Rage came out in 1982, I think, and Code of Silence came out in 1984 or 5, around that time, some years after Silent Rage. And it's just a really entertaining 80s action movie. If you don't like the idea of Chuck Norris being a police officer and then just, blasting bad guys away with a shotgun, you're not going to enjoy Code of Silence or any 1980s action movie, to be honest. But I love that stuff. So I think Code of Silence was a huge positive surprise. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as I thought it was. So there you go. What else could I say about Code of Silence? Is there something else? Not really. I mean, it's a pretty basic 1980s horror action movie, not horror movie, action movie. But yeah, it's just a good time. Great stunt work. There's people just flying all over the place and getting smacked around by Chuck Norris, and getting shot by him and falling over. It's cool. I like this 80s special effects stunt work stuff that. These action movies that have so much of that. Love it. So yeah, there you go. Took me again longer than I was expecting, but whatever. It is what it is. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'll be again here next week with something else. See ya.